Hey everybody, it's Beth, and welcome to Infinite Garden. This last week, I received a comment from a viewer on my video, Why the Gray Hair Movement Matters. And this commenter expressed a fear that I think many of us share when we go through this gray hair transition journey. She shared a fear that her transition would mean that she would have worse luck in the end of finding the life partner that she wishes to attract. And I felt that comment in my heart because I know that that's the core of a lot of the fear that people have before they go on this journey. And the timing was just so synchronous with two strange encounters I had in the past week when I was out mixing with the public. And I want to share those with you. And I want to address this concept that a gray hair transition will make you less attractive, because I don't think it's true at all. And I want to talk about it. If that sounds interesting to you, please stay tuned. Okay, first, let me get this out of the way that the concept of attractiveness and magnetism is very rich and deep and kind of core to what it means to be a human, I think, in a lot of ways. So I'm not going to be able to say all there is to say and approach every disclaimer, basically. I'll say this. It's not my business who or what you're trying to attract, but I think a lot of us have a desire to attract somebody or something to us. And I do think that one of the reasons why a lot of us chose to dye our hair for so long to cover our gray was that we feared that if we didn't dye our hair, that we would be unattractive. And it's a fear that when you decide that you're going to stop dyeing your hair, it means that you're no longer letting that fear take over you. Meaning, I think for a lot of us, we have to just accept it and say, c'est la vie, so be it. This is just the way it's going to be. And I think having that acceptance deep down, I think, is a pretty good tool, because I think it's good to lose that attachment. But I also think it's a fear. I think it's us wrestling with an implanted fear. I don't actually think it's true. And I wanted to say why and tell you a couple of stories. So this week, I was out and about in public more. I have been extremely observant during the COVID-19 crisis. I live in an urban environment and I have been able to work from home. So for the most part, I've tried to keep it pretty minimal. I haven't been out unnecessarily. I haven't really been socializing. But now that it's summer and things in America really do seem to be kind of loosening up, I've been out a couple times more than I would have in the past, including a trip to the mall to buy a gift for a loved one. So my husband and I were at a department store in the mall, and as I was standing there, out and about, two young women walked by me. They could not have been over 25 years old. They might have even been teenagers. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, one of them stopped and looked at me, and I swear to you, she said, "Oh my God, your hair." And I looked at her, and she said, was it real? And then she looked at it. I said, yes, I'm I've been growing it out for 15 months. You can see I've got the blonde at the end. She's like, Yes, with the blonde on the ends, yes. And I didn't know what to say. I just said, thank you. My goodness, thank you so much. She's like, it's beautiful. And I thought about this. It was so kind of amazing, because this is a young woman who maybe just got some inspo. I'm not sure what exactly will come next, but it was genuine. And my husband heard it and he saw it and he was like, she really meant that, didn't she? And I loved it. It made me feel... It made me feel so good, because it was just really nice to receive, and it felt genuine. It was, I don't know, it made my day, and I don't necessarily need compliments or whatever for that, but it was really a fun interaction, and I felt the vibe with her. She was feeling it. I was enjoying that, and it gave me a lot of confidence, and I was really grateful for her kind reaction, and just the whole thing was just great, right? So that happened to me on Tuesday evening. And then Yesterday, I had to go to the farmer's market in the city where I live. It's near my house, and I just walk over and grab some things. So I was going over yesterday morning, and I was in my own space. I was wearing, it's hot here, so I was wearing a sundress, sunglasses, just had my little market bag, and I was making my way over. And there was a music, like a street performer with like the tips out or whatever. It was a young man. Again, I don't know how old he was. Maybe no older than 25. Could have been a teenager. Same sort of thing. Playing. It's like a euphonium, I think. But he was playing in his own way, and he was out busking for dollars or whatever. And I was walking by him, and he actually stopped playing his euphonium, and he said to me, "You are hot." And I just said, "Thank you very much," and kept walking. It was the weirdest thing. I mean, I've lived in an urban environments all my life and have been, whatever, the cat calling, street stuff. Like I hate it. I've been subject to that my whole life too. This felt different. This didn't feel like even a come on. It felt like he was just like acknowledging something and giving me this energy in a way that wasn't about what he was going to get from it, which is usually sort of the tone otherwise. This didn't have any of that tone at all. It felt really different. And, I have to admit that after I finished my shopping, I did give him a little tip for his music on the street, which sounded great, but it was funny. I came home and I told my husband that too. I was like, my gosh, you won't believe what just happened. This is like a kid. He said this to me, and it made me feel like, my goodness, I couldn't remember getting that kind of response from people in the past. And I thought, my goodness, what's happening here? What is happening? And I think I know what it is. And I think it has everything to do with authenticity and individuality. Because before, I don't think that my hair color, in all of the years that I was dyeing my hair, if you saw my first video, Becoming Platinum, I share a lot of photos about my journey. I was one of those people who dyed my hair all the colors. I just went through phases where I decided to have as much fun as possible. I do share a birthday with Madonna, if that makes any sense. Different year, same day though. Anyway, I don't think it ever looked great. I mean, my stylists were incredible. They were amazing with color, but dye still has the simulated effect that the eye knows, especially because this white hair toward the end when I was dyeing my hair red, it took a week and a half before this bright white started shining through my red, and everyone could see that. And if I used the hair powder, everyone could see that. People can tell it's not real. And I think that creates a disharmony between you and the person who's observing you in some way. They can tell that something's being hidden, something is not quite authentic. And I think when you change that tone and you're coming through your authentic self, I think people respond really well to that. It's a very powerful choice. I also think that, as I was moving through these different colors, I was also having a disharmonious color effect in some cases. Not in all cases. Sometimes the color I chose was more natural and looked more realistic. In other cases, I was pushing the line for sure. And I know this because in 2019, I met up with a friend that I've known since our early 20s. We worked together. I was in her city visiting, and we got together and had lunch and then some cocktails. And by the end of our visit together, my friend felt, comfortable to tell me that my hair color at the time, and I'll show a picture of what it was, that she said it wasn't believable and I should really consider doing something a little more dishwater blonde and less platinum because it just looked fake. And I was trying to tell her that the platinum hair was part of a strategy I had ultimately to try to go to my natural color, and it was as close to my natural color as I could get right now. And she was like, "Well, I understand that, but I'm just trying to be honest with you. I don't think it looks real." And it hurt because, no one wants to hear that. But she wasn't trying to hurt me. I know the difference. I've had all kinds of friends, real ones and fake ones in my life. And this person was not trying to make me feel bad. I think she was trying to deliver a message. And I look back at these pictures and she was right. There's something about that is, it creates just a little tension between people. So it's both the issue of authenticity, and in some cases too, you might be not getting your color quite right, and so you're even like injuring the way you look because you're introducing disharmony. And I think I was doing both things. And then the other piece of it is this individuality. I mean, when you get your hair colored, of course it's going to be slightly different from other people because it's your head, it's your hair, etc. But we're doing effects that are trying to mimic a certain standard or whatever. Your gray hair pattern is going to be entirely unique to you, like a fingerprint. And that is so interesting. It's more interesting to offer something totally unique to the world, I think, than it is to say, I did a really good job of getting close to this idealized standard that we're all trying to get to. I think that's just a little less interesting. And so I think those two things, that authenticity and that individuality, is just very attractive. And whether or not you're trying to attract a romantic partner or, friends or investors or whatever it is that you're into, whatever it is that you want, I think that you shouldn't spend one moment more worrying about if your gray hair is going to make you less attractive. I really don't think you have to worry about that. I think you're embarking on something actually that will have the power to attract more of what you want to you. And I think it's a good time to anticipate that and ready yourself for that, because I'm getting the really strong sense that's what's going to be happening. So anyway, I hope this resonated with at least one person out there. I've got a person in mind that I made this video for. So to my friend in Denmark, this video really is for you. And I hope you're doing well. I've got some peonies behind me from my garden. A lot of them bloomed this week, and I kind of just spent the week just flitting about my garden. And I've got my roses coming now, so things are heating up in the summertime out here. I hope you're all well. I hope everything is going your way. Take care. Talk to you soon.